Hello and good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Superpowers. I have a great guest today, and she's actually a returning guest. I have Barbara Becker revisiting us today, and she's got some really cool stuff to tell us about what she's been doing recently, which is quantum healing hypnosis. So excited to hear about that. Before we jump into that, I just wanted to real quick tell you a little bit about something new that's going on with us at Streaming for the Soul. We're actually now at a place in our, we've been beta testing this for a while, and we are in a place now where we're able to offer memberships to people. And the memberships are for our member video on demand library, so that you can go and you can watch videos anytime you want, and as many times as you want. So we have it set up so that if you go to the website and you click on the join now button, it'll take you to this page that you're seeing right here, and you can go ahead and click on this start your free month, and we've got it set so that you get 30 free days of viewing and before anything starts up. And so you can go, you can test it out and see how you like it. And we really, at this point, would love to ask for your support. Your memberships really help us. They're helping us grow. They're helping us to continue to bring more programming and, really cool stuff. So love for you to do it. And I have here actually an email from somebody that just joined up, and it was just part of the program. And it says, "Dear Streaming for the Soul, the monthly membership is a wonderful value. I listened to Karl's interview with Alan Huguenot and also to Susan Giesman and one other video all on the same day. I really enjoyed them. I'm watching Dr. Cam Ewan now and loving that too. I'm so glad I'm getting all this information." And the thing that is great, because you have the unlimited access as well, so you can watch things over and over again. And one of the things that I have noticed, and that I have found to be true, people send me emails about this all the time, is they will find somebody like, we've got healers, we've got mediums, we've got teachers of various different kinds, and they love watching it because they get energy from it, and they feel their life changing from it. One person told me that she was watching one over and over again, and she was just watching her life transform. So that's one of the nice things that one of the great benefits of having the unlimited access to it. You can watch things when you want, and over and over again. So would love for you to check that out. Just go to streamingforthesoul.com and click on the join now button, and it'll take you right to that page that I showed you right here. And you can click on the join now button on that page, and you can start your membership, start your free month. So there you go. All right, and now I really want to jump in and join Barbara Becker, and so we're just going to do that, and let's say hello to Barbara. Hello, Barbara.
Well, hello, Karl. And it's a wonderful pleasure to return again and talk with you about what I'm up to and how I'm being of service for humanity.
Yeah, well, and I'm excited to have you do that. Something that I would love to do here real quick, because we may have people who did not get a chance to see you on the last interview. So I just want to get them a little bit caught up to speed. We'll just do a little bit of background about you real quick. You are gifted with superpowers, which is pretty awesome. We all are, but yours are expressing themselves now. And part of the catalyst for that may have been a near-death experience you had. Is that right?
Yes, yes. That was back in 1986. I was in a near fatal automobile accident. And it was right after that I began having out of body experiences 5 times a day. And this lasted for about 8 months. They gradually decreased in frequency. And I had no control over it. And I didn't quite understand what was going on, but I just went with it. And it was 10 years later that I began my awakening. And it was learning about angels and guides and the whole other realm besides our third dimensional physical reality. And then from there, I went on to become a Reiki master. And then I continued on to actually have a shamanic opening ceremony. And that's where my gift was opened up. And this gift is a mathematical star language that is always playing in my mind 24/7. And I have the ability to push it back where it doesn't interfere with my conversations with people, with my activities in my life, and I can bring it forward uh, for healing purposes for people, for insights and guidance. And then that eventually went on to be available for people to come to my star energy healing teleconferences on the phone, and I actually channel my higher self, which is a group of beings from the great central sun, and they answer questions of participants in these teleconferences.
That I just think that's so cool. And actually, in the last Superpowers interview that we did with you, you did channel some of the mathematical language, which was great. And I don't think let's do that now. If people would like to hear that and experience that, you can find that on streamingforthesoul.com, and Barbara's interview is there, the one that we did previously. So you can just get a sense of what that mathematical language is and what that was like. And it was very cool. And I know, Barbara, now that's an interview and that's one of the things that people like to go and watch over and over again. And it's because there's the energy transmission that's coming with that. It's not just, the mathematical language, but there's actually a conveyance of energy that happens when you're doing that.
That's right. And what's interesting is people are listening to it over and over. It may appear to be the same message or same frequency, but there is so much more. And it's your higher self is working with that sound, that signature. And people have told me they've gone deeper and deeper, and they're able to receive more insights, and their consciousness has been expanding. Because why? Because there are more opportunities for growth, for understanding the bigger picture of what's really occurring here in our third dimensional reality.
Well, and probably if there's anything that I really want to be able to offer to people, and hopefully that they see, and hopefully they pick up on, is there is so much more going on than just what this third dimensional reality. This is really kind of this is kind of the last stop, and it's the projection of all that activity that happened beforehand, and it kind of is, being projected forward, and we're experiencing it as our reality. But there is so much happening, and there's so much to who we are, and to just, for those who maybe aren't sure of that, or to those who are doing really what we're supposed to be doing here, which is being very engaged in the third dimensional experience,
Yes.
and aren't aware of that. I just love opening that door of possibility for people. Let them know that there is a little bit more to who they are and to what's going on.
Yes, and when you tap into that universal greater knowledge, you can then apply it to your everyday human experience, and life just keeps getting better and better.
So let's jump into now. So, because that's kind of where we left off the last time we spoke, because you were engaged in the mathematical language, and you were doing a lot of channeling of that, and you were working with people, and they were enjoying transformations. And then you took a new step, and you got into the quantum healing hypnosis. So talk to me or talk to us a little bit about what that is.
Okay, well, quantum healing hypnosis technique is a modality that was created and perfected by Dolores Cannon. And in that technique, this is where a person can heal themselves and have access to answers to their questions and information. Now, back in 2013, I contacted a friend who recommended that I have a QHHT session. Just go to the directory at the main website and find a practitioner near me. So I did, and I had my very first QHHT session. And in that session, my thyroid was healed. I was on a homeopathic preparation, and that was taken care of. I have not had to take that medication since then. And in that same session, I learned about the process of how I came into the human form and how we come with our soul plan, our contracts, a mission, all of our agreements. We have met with our guides before we come here. We have the whole game plan. And then we come here, and of course, all that is forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have to go through this human experience. And as we continue forward, there will come a time where we will have an opportunity to access that information, hence quantum healing hypnosis technique. Now, in the QHHT session, this is where the client has the opportunity to access what we call past lives or parallel lives. This is an opportunity to access information. Now, some people are understanding that past lives, there's no such thing as past. Everything is existing right now. So we can interpret that as soul memories, cellular memory. We can also look at it as a huge catalog of information that we have access to. And so when we go into that catalog, our higher self will give us that particular information from that particular experience in the form of what looks like a movie. And it's mostly the human interactions. It could actually be a form of life that is animal, fish, air molecule. It could be a experience on another planet, in another star system. There's no limit to where that information can be found and presented. And then in that, the higher self is giving that information specifically for the client because the client has come to the session because they're having some problems or they're wanting information. And that information could be about, what am I doing here?
For starters.
Yeah, this is called the eternal question. What's my life purpose? What else do I need to learn? What is my mission here? Have I completed it? Is there something I need to do that I haven't done yet?
Right.
And so that's just an example. Some people ask about relationship issues. Will I meet that person that's going to really help me grow more and resonate with me? People have questions about the careers. Are they in the right job? Are they done with this? What's going on with the dynamics occurring at my employment? And then people have questions about, gosh, is this where I'm supposed to be, where I'm living right now? Or is there a better place for me to be that will be a place where I can thrive and be of service and be joyful?
Yeah.
And then, of course, people come for health concerns and medical issues. So that is one component of the quantum healing hypnosis technique session. The other component is access to the subconscious. Now, when I say subconscious, that's what Dolores called that aspect of us that we have known as the higher self, the oversoul, or super consciousness. It really doesn't have a name, but that's what Dolores gave it.
Right.
And we practitioners now have shortened that name to SC. So if you ever hear that, that's what we're talking about, the subconscious.
Got it. Yeah.
So what's interesting, this is not the psychological subconscious that we know of. This is that part of us that is actually a group of beings that are with us ever since we came into being, whether that's 1,000,000 years ago or if it was 3 weeks ago. Now, the subconscious, when I say these group of beings, just like we have angels, we have guides, we have our loved ones who crossed over, we have our pets that have crossed over, they're all with us. Even if we can't see or hear or feel them, they are with us. And depending upon how open you are, you can access that at any time. And so this group of beings watch over us. They know all our contracts. They know everything that's ever happened to us. We have no secrets from them.
Mm-hmm.
And they are very protective of us. And they have the ability to heal our bodies, our physical bodies. And they do that when we are out of our bodies, such as when we go to sleep at night, or if we take a nap in the afternoon.
Right. Yeah.
That's one thing about the quantum healing hypnosis technique session I like. That technique is very natural because everyone goes through the same process of a QHHT session when they go to sleep at night, and then the exact opposite when they wake up in the morning. You go through all those different levels of consciousness down to sleep, and then all the way back up to being awake.
Right.
And where the technique takes a person is down to that deep trance theta level of hypnosis.
Right. Wow. Okay. So that's a lot of info there
Yes.
for us to chew on. So I want to just back up a second because I think one of the things about this that's fascinating and I think it's maybe not necessarily that it's a brand new thing. However, the fact that now there is a system, something in place that sort of focuses the intent to get information about. I mean, those are important questions about us. Who am I? What am I doing here? We really do, but forget why we came. And so it's nice to know that there is a way that we can go in and we can actually, start to connect with that. Because I think, as we're moving along in our journeys here on the third dimensional plane, one of the things that will create anxiety, and one of the things that will create just a sense of uneasiness, or even move us into unhappiness, is when we disconnect from what our plan was to get here, and and what we wanted to do while we were here. So I love that it's possible to connect with that. Tell me what that's like, what that process is like when you're in there. Are you asking questions, or is the facilitator asking questions? How does it work?
Okay, so as the facilitator of the session, I ask the questions that the client has brought to the session. And while the client is in that deep trance hypnosis, and I have established contact with their higher self, the subconscious, I will ask questions. And then, depending upon the answers that are coming forth, I will ask further questions for more clarity.
So, and then now the other thing too that I liked, because Because I know it's true, and I'm sure that there are people in our audience who know this too. But we are multi-dimensional beings, and we are living simultaneous realities. And the best analogy for getting a grasp on that, understanding that, really is television or radio. And when you're watching television or when you're listening to a radio station, you're getting the station that you are tuned into. So right now, all of us are tuned to, I'm tuned to station Karl Fink in 2016 as we understand it, and this is what I'm watching right now, But that doesn't mean that there aren't an awful lot of other Karl programs going on out there that I could also tune into as well, which is fascinating. And I know that that's a hard one for us to wrap our brains around. What did you find when I'm sure you explored that a little bit for yourself, and what sorts of other things are you doing here in the cosmos?
Good question. I like that. Well, other life forms, beingness that I am currently doing right now is in another plane of existence. I am a huge whale in the oceans.
Oh, cool.
And I'm cleaning up the oceans. Now, if we can talk about how our thoughts actually go or travel instantaneously into the higher planes of existence, or what we could say the dimensions.
Right.
And that actually will trickle down through the dimensions and becomes manifest into the physical, so third dimensional. And so that's why I have such great peace about knowing that our oceans, although they've been contaminated through various activities, that they are going to be pristine again. We will have that reality. The other things that I'm doing is I'm actually a commander of a large spacecraft that conducts research and also offers educational platforms. And but what's interesting is we're only given so much information about our other lives.
Right. Yeah.
And our other states of existence, because we're really supposed to be focusing on this third dimension human experience.
Exactly.
It's just good information to know, and it helps me to understand. Okay, we're going to get there. We're going to get through this shift and this ascension, and it's we're going into the golden age. It's in fact, one time I did a meditation, and I asked my higher self, please show me, what is this going to look like, this third dimensional reality? What's it going to look like when we make that shift to the fifth dimension? And I was shown a white dove of peace.
Beautiful.
That's the next 1,000 years.
Right.
So that's in my heart, and that's why my message is always, work toward that uplifting, joyful, loving, compassionate being, the natural state that you really are.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I agree with you absolutely 100% that knowing about these other things, it's not meant to be sort of the grass is greener sort of thing, and I'm doing something cooler over, in this dimension. It's not about that at all. It's just to open that door of possibility again and just say, you know what, there just is more to the whole of me, to the whole of my existence. And right now what I'm experiencing, and I know this is very true, these lives that we are in right now and everything that we're doing and every action we're taking is all a sacred journey. And we want to embrace that, and we want to love ourselves, and we want to hold love and anchor love to the planet right now. I mean, really, truly, the be the change that you want to see in the world is 100% true, you know, and the starting place is loving yourself and loving this life and loving this journey and recognizing it as the sacred journey that it is. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Because you know, I think that it's very easy, especially if things aren't exactly how you want them to be right now. And well, I don't have this, and I don't have that, and I wish that, you know, and my kids hate me, and you know, and all, which by the way is not true. You know, that you know, we start looking for better outside of ourselves, and I love that this journey is internal. I love that it's looking inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So typically, Barbara, what kinds of things are people wanting to know when they come to you? I mean, is there sort of a pattern? Is there what sorts of things do you find that are just common threads?
well, the initial one is, why am I here? What am
Mm-hmm.
I doing?
Right.
And what else am I doing here? And that's really fun to find out that people are also on other planets and other capacities helping out there in the cosmos. It's wonderful. Now, many people come to me with just exacerbated. They're just saying, "Gosh, I've done all these modalities, I've done all this
Mm.
work, and um, things aren't just working out the way I, had wanted them to. I don't know what to do next, and at this point, I'm ready just to give up."
Right. Yeah.
And so that's actually a very perfect place to be for a
Mm.
QHHE session, because now you're open. You're like, okay, let's find out. Let's explore. Have that curiosity, and in that session, information comes through. And people will find that, oh, okay, so now I know why I'm here. I've got a direction to go in. And some people find out that they're exactly where they're supposed to be. So now they know they're right on track.
Right.
They don't have any more karma.
Mm-hmm.
It's done.
Right.
And other people have just some little bit of karmic balancing to do. That's done.
Yeah.
And so those are sometimes it's emotional. They're wondering about their relationships with people, whether it's a loved one or it's a child or a parent, and they'd like to know what's this really all about. What am I supposed to learn from this?
Right. Yeah.
So I yourself can share that. So
Mm-hmm.
it puts it all into perspective for them.
Right.
That is very healing in itself, because you're able to
Mm-hmm.
see it. Oh, so they're really helping me? Oh, okay, got it. Right. And
Yeah.
so, and then of course, people come for the medical issues. Now, I can give you some examples.
Oh yeah, no, I would love to just hear some examples of you know, what people have brought to you, and then kind of what that journey was like and what that process was like with them.
Okay. All right. Well, here's a good one that really encompasses everything I just touched upon. This woman came to me for a session, and she had left shoulder and neck pain for 5 years. She always has to get her husband to massage her to work out that spasming. And she also had problems with bladder incontinence. So she always had to be hyper vigilant about where is the nearest restroom, wherever she
Mm.
went,
Right.
which can affect your life because you
Mm-hmm.
have to focus on that. And
Right.
and then she also was told that she uh, is an ambassador of worlds, and she didn't know what that meant. She didn't know how to really explore that. And then in addition to that, she had a situation that she couldn't understand. We can call it an event. And that event was, she was sitting in the living room with her husband, and they saw a flash of light. They both saw it, and that was that. And she was wondering, what was that all about? So in her session,
I am too, by the way. I'm wondering what that was all about.
So in her session, she was taken into what we call a past life, where she was a man. She was in Parliament. This is in England, and she was responsible for settling land disputes between government agencies and the people that own the land. And there was a group of people that wanted to pay him off. In other words, sway his decisions in their favor. And he refused to do that. He had high standards and felt he could come up with something that was equitable for everyone. Well, they shot him in the left shoulder on the steps of Parliament, and he bled to death. Now, we found out through the subconscious that that role of being a judge or an arbitrator in Parliament, that explains that this woman has the experience and the skills and the knowledge in her current parallel life as an ambassador between worlds. Mm-hmm. Now, as a side note, the subconscious said that I and this woman meet each other in the other realms. And that's why when I walked into her apartment, she said, "Gosh, you look familiar to me." And I get that. Right. I go, yeah. Okay, let's, okay. So now what's interesting is that bullet wound into the left shoulder is the cellular memory from that existence, that life, that was carried forward to this life. Right. So after the session, she told me through an email, I think it was a month later, that for the past month, that ever since that session, she never had any more pain in the left shoulder. So it's gone. Wow. Yeah. Because Dolores found when a person hears what the root cause of their medical issue is, and if it's in alignment with their soul contract, then it can be released. Now, when I say soul contract, some people are here that are meant to have certain diseases and injuries and conditions because they're either learning from it or there is some type of information that's coming through that experience. Now, the bladder issue, this was very interesting. She had to go to the restroom twice during the session, and that was not a problem. She went to the bathroom, came back, and each time you go back into the hypnosis, you actually are staying at that level, you go even deeper. So restroom breaks are not an issue. And so I was talking with the SC, and they were working on her bladder and explained that the issue of the bladder incontinence for her was about her constant fear and worry, anxiety that she's had since childhood. She had a very rough childhood. And many people who come to me have very challenging childhood experiences. And so this helps explain how that all developed there at that point. Right. Now, ever since her session, she shared with me that she no longer has to even think about a restroom. Right. Great. That problem's gone. Yeah. And I've had so far 5 clients come to me with bladder issues, bladder incontinence, and for every one of them, that's been healed. Not a problem. Now, what was interesting about the flash of light. Yes. This particular client is actually another life form. And this life form that she is a form where it's a different type of vessel. We have a human form, okay? This form is of what would look like a reptile.
Mm.
Okay. And this is in another dimension.
Right.
So what the subconscious explained to me was that she actually has a relationship where she has children that are reptiles, and that it's a very loving relationship. In fact, her mate came through in this session.
Oh, whoa.
Yes, and the whole room was filled with love and compassion.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Now, what was going on was in that flash of light, she had to take care of the children in the other dimension. So you call it a task.
Uh-huh.
So the higher self was able to bend time
Ah,
and put her over in that life.
right.
She took care of that situation, whatever it was, and then she came back. Her husband, who was sitting in the living room, he was put into suspended animation, and his memory was wiped out
Mm.
of that event.
Yeah.
Her memory was also wiped out from that event because it's not necessary to know about it up to the point of this QHHT session.
Right.
Because
Right.
in this session, she was able to put it all together and now have a greater understanding that she is more than just this human being here. We
Mm-hmm.
are multidimensional.
Right.
We're doing many other things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
in addition to also being in a reptile form, she's also an ambassador between planets.
Wow.
Isn't
Wow.
it amazing?
It
Yes.
is. It is totally amazing. I love too. It's sort of the quantum. Hang on just a second. I'll be right back. Flash and off to something else. Question for you, and I wonder. I don't know if there's an answer for this or not. But when you were originally talking about her symptoms and her pain and what she was having, it sounded to me as though it was something that had begun to express later in her life. In other words, there wasn't a chronology of bringing it necessarily from a past life, and always having had it. It was more that, as you said, had been for the past 5 years. I wonder if there's a thought on why it began to express when it did. Was it circumstances in her life that brought it forward, or was there any sort of catalyst at all? Or I'm just curious about the timing on that.
Okay. Well, what's coming down through right now for me, because they're talking with me,
Uh huh.
is that there are layers. And so we are always processing this, what's carried in the cellular memory. And it's also in our DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And it's coming through the layers and down into the physical form where we finally process it. So
Right.
it was in that 5 years that she was processing that experience, that memory. And what did she learn from that? She learned a lot. She learned to be more compassionate with people who have muscle
Mm-hmm.
spasms.
Right.
She understands that sometimes you have to limit yourself for self-care, self-love, and then allow that to work its way to feeling good again, feeling normal, and then it will come back again. And so you process another portion of that memory. And it's all done unconsciously for the
Right.
most part,
Yeah.
unless you are able to go into a deep level of either hypnosis or meditation and ask, what is this really all about?
Right. Yeah.
As you know, there's many different forms of healing, many
Mm-hmm.
different ways to access information.
Right.
And this is just one beautiful, natural way to do it.
So now another question that sort of came out of the phase 2, or the second part of this, which was, and you were talking about, guides and helpers and folks that are with us all the time. And I love that, because really the room's a lot more crowded than it looks, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So now when you're doing this, when you're working through this as a facilitator for people, what's your experience like? What is it, I mean, what does it feel like to you, and what kinds of things are, coming into your awareness as you're working with somebody?
Okay. It's very calming. It's very loving. Dolores wrote a beautiful relaxation script that's full of compassion and comfort. And I am always, checking my watch, keeping track of the time, making sure that I'm asking the questions that is going to help reveal good answers, meaningful answers, and information. And when I'm in the session, I have the ability to look through the dimensions and actually see the subconscious, the group of beings.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, sometimes the client's body will turn into white light. The client actually disappears, and the white light is in the place in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the whole room is filled with white light, and
Right.
this is confirmation that healing is occurring. Everybody receives healing in these sessions.
Yeah.
Whether you are conscious of it or not, because
Right.
there's so much going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And this was proved to me in several sessions.
Right. So now, question for you, because guides are there, and also, people who are no longer, physically existing on the planet, that might be friends, or, as you said, animals and things like that. And something you mentioned is they're very protective of us. So that protection, I'm wondering now, just different ways that expresses. Are they protecting our purpose and what we want to do here? Are they physically protecting us? Are they emotionally? I mean, just curious what your take is on that, and what kinds of things you've observed when you're working with people.
Okay, so the subconscious, the SC, that bigger part of us, they are always observing us. They know our soul contracts. They know all the experiences we want to have.
Right.
Even the challenging ones, the tough ones, the things that don't feel good, that we wonder, God, what else do I have to do here? But because in those tough experiences, we're learning a lot. We're actually accessing more part of us, and we're also seeing just who we really are, that we are very powerful, we're very strong, we've just forgotten. And we're very loving, we're very loving souls, everyone is, and that light is within everyone. So we do venture out far away from that perspective in order to do that 180-degree turn and come back to our realization, the self-realization that we are God, we are source.
Right. Yeah.
That everything is holding consciousness. And now right, go ahead.
Oh, well, I actually, what I wanted to touch on just for a second is what observing us in what we would call struggle is actually like for our SC group. And one of my favorite stories or anecdotes that Marianne Williamson would tell when we were live streaming her. I loved how she would say that. She would be saying, it's example is, somebody talking about someone they're in a relationship with, and they're telling Jesus about it, and they're saying, he's awful. He lies to me, and he yells at me, and he doesn't respect me, and and it's just terrible. And Jesus is standing there, and he's going, I like him. and I love that, because it's it is watching that journey. Obviously, that you either believe that things are purposeful or you don't. And so if they are purposeful, then there's a reason that we are going through all of it. And so I'm assuming that our guides are watching that, or the SC group is watching that, just from a state of non-judgment, and actually probably very supportive, whatever it happens to be, regardless of whether we are considering it struggle.
Yes. And in my autobiography, I shared how we are all playing roles for each other. So in
Right.
our agreement, one of us came down, I'm going to be the bugaboo for you. I'm going to be
Right.
the one that's going to be really nasty to you,
Mm-hmm.
so that you will learn self-love, that you will stand up for yourself. You will speak your truth. You will forgive yourself, because you're the one who wanted this to occur in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very interesting. And also now you kind of got me going now with the different roles and all of that. And I don't know, to wrap your mind around that, at least now, again, as a human in the third dimension, taking on the role of being somebody that is going to give another person great challenges. I mean, what a loving agreement, actually, and to follow through with it, right? Because it's actually counter to how we express naturally to to be the antagonist for someone.
Yes, yes. And we're given many opportunities to explore that experience.
Yeah, yeah. So you mentioned something real quick, and I want to go to it. Because, and this will kind of take us back in time a little bit, but your autobiography, that is that Enclosure? Is that the book?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And can you tell us just a little bit about Enclosure and where that came from and why you wrote that?
Okay, sure. My autobiography is called Enclosure, a Spiritual Autobiography. I really didn't know how to write a book, and I was doing everything in my life to not write the book. I knew I was supposed to, because I was told so. And one day I had a kick in the butt angel reading by a psychic in Arizona here. And it came to my realization in that reading that I had to write that book and get it published. Otherwise, I couldn't go one step forward on my journey. So I asked for help from my angels, and I taught myself how to write. And I wrote the book. It starts off in 1986 with the automobile accident that I had and the out-of-body experiences. And it goes forward through the years up into 2012. And the book covers the insights that I've learned from my experiences that I stumbled and I could have done better. And I really put myself exposed to help people understand that there is great learning in self-love going through all that we go through in this life.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember even writing the book, my ego was sitting next to me saying, oh gosh, you can't put that in there. Well, and I had
Good
to
old
tell
ego.
my
It knows best.
this is my story. And we all are here. We all go back to source, where we came from. And so this is my story. This is how I experienced this particular life. And I'm glad I put those stories in because one day in 2013, a woman contacted me through Facebook
Uh-huh.
and said that she was about to commit suicide, and she found my website, found my book, and she read it. And she says, I no longer feel that way anymore.
Wow.
And I just sat there and cried because I
Yeah.
thought, what
Right.
if I let that information out, those
Mm-hmm.
stories out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's definitely important to listen to, not just to listen to anymore, but to actually um, act on those intuitions when they come up, you know.
yeah,
And we get lots of chances, we get lots of practice, you know. A friend of mine was just telling me how she was uh, you know, at the Goodwill and got this very strong intuitive hit to buy these two books that were there on that were about psychic development, and she kind of looked at them and she goes, I've already read those books. You know, I don't need that. They happen to be books that she liked a lot. And if somebody were to ask, what would you recommend? She would recommend those books. But, you know, so anyway, she doesn't buy them. She goes home, checking her email, gets an email from somebody who's asking, could she recommend any books on psychic development? And it was exactly, you know, those were the two books that she would recommend and would have been happy to send to them too. So, you know, and those are just little practice things for us, you know, but
yeah,
yours was clearly, I mean, you know, that was an important reason for the book to get out there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm writing the sequel to my autobiography because I knew it would be two books.
Right.
So
Oh,
that's in,
nice.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so one is kind of how you made this transformation,
yeah,
and now I guess part two is kind of what you're doing with it. Yeah.
yeah. Because I used to be a skeptic. I didn't believe in any of this. I
Right.
was very analytical,
Yeah.
logical. Yeah.
Right. Right. What was your background? You know, prior to the accident and prior then to the shamanic ceremony and the opening.
Yes, I was a critical care registered nurse
Mm-hmm.
and also an educator. I taught um, uh, new nursing students and graduate nurses how to make that transition to the real world of hospital work.
Mm-hmm.
I also transitioned from that to be a legal nurse consultant and did that for a number of years, over 20 years, had an
Right.
independent practice. And then I transitioned from that to be an angel communicator. And
Mm-hmm.
because my gifts started opening up
Right.
and found out I'm very psychic and that I can feel very high frequency energies in addition to the low ones. And I also transitioned to doing the channeling
Right.
and yeah, and the healing work. And then I also had a small or short time of being a medical aesthetic nurse
Oh.
and had my
Yeah.
own practice.
Mm-hmm.
And that was very, very short. But
Right.
I learned a lot in those short
Yeah.
months that I had
Right.
that. And
Right.
then I was guided to transition out of also the medical insurance industry,
Mm-hmm.
and formed Barbara Becker Healing in 2011.
Oh. Um, Dragging you back again, just to the critical care nurse, just for a second. I'm curious if during that time you had patients that wanted to tell you about near-death experiences, and if they did, you know, how did you receive them, and in that sort of older Barbara thinking pattern, what was that like for you if people were telling you about near-death experiences?
Oh, it was very interesting. I always enjoyed listening to their stories. Many people, after they came back, was we resuscitated them back to life. They told me they would go to this beautiful light. They would see their family, but somebody would come along and say, "No, it's not your time. So go
Mm-hmm.
back."
Right.
Others would they would see the beautiful fields of flowers and just wonderful, beautiful places.
Right. Yeah.
I remember one woman, she was my patient. We resuscitated her so fast that when she came back, she told me that all she saw was just blackness. That
Oh,
was it. She just,
interesting.
she kind of felt that, oh, she needed to call me. So she turned on her call light and then she went into a ventricular rhythm that doesn't sustain life. And uh, actually, when we, as the code team, went into her room, we were all working on our reflexes. We resuscitated her so fast. When we came out of the room, we looked at each other and said, "What did we just do?"
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So fast.
Yeah.
And the emergency room doctor came and said, "Oh, I guess you don't need me. You got her back just fine."
Mm-hmm.
And I had one particular patient that told me when he uh, died,
Mm-hmm.
he said he went to what he considered an interpretation of hell.
Oh,
Yeah, he
interesting.
saw demons and fire and it was just awful.
Right.
And when he came back, he says, "Barbara, I'm a new person. I am changing my ways."
Ah.
I thought, well, isn't that wonderful? You had that
Yeah.
experience.
Right.
It's like being given a memo, okay? What
Mm-hmm.
you're doing is not in your best interest.
Yeah.
So
Stop it.
consider this. So let's change that.
Right.
So wow.
Right. Very cool. Well, so I think there are probably people who would love to know more about how they might um, be able to work with you doing the quantum healing hypnosis technique. And so, can you tell people how they can do that with you and where they would find you and all of that kind of stuff, and also how you work? I mean, I guess, do you work on the telephone? Do you work by Skype? You were talking about one person, you're actually with them present, but you can't always do that.
No, these quantum healing hypnosis technique sessions are done in person.
Oh,
And
okay.
I will do them either in a person's home or in a hotel. I do have clients come from all over North America. They'll
Mm-hmm.
fly into our airport and they take a free shuttle to a near hotel. I meet them there. We do the session. They spend the night. They wake up the next morning, have breakfast, and they go back to the airport and go home.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's that easy.
Right.
And yeah.
Okay.
And to contact me through my website, barbarabeckerhealing.com, there is a
Mm-hmm.
contact page there. There's also information on quantum healing hypnosis technique, what it is, and how to prepare for your session. Also, I have testimonials there from people who have graciously um, given me permission to share their experiences in their words.
Right. Yeah.
There's also a couple international directories from the websites. The first one is qhtofficial.com, and that is the Dolores Cannon Official Academy website. And there's also another website called Dolores Cannon QHHT.com. And there is even more information on both websites about sessions. There's videos to view, there's blog articles, and I even have blog articles on my website about sessions that people can read and find out what type of experiences others are having.
Right. Well, great. Good, good, good. And I hope that some folks will come in and visit you and explore that, kind of those next steps of their journey. And, figuring out who they are. That's what we're all kind of here doing, and figuring out who we are and walking each other home. So, so very good.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so Barbara, I just want to thank you for being here with us today and telling us more about what you've been doing. And I think the quantum healing hypnosis technique sounds wonderful and very exciting. And so thank you for sharing that and just all the what you've been up to.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah. Okay, and that is Barbara Becker. And if you're interested in the quantum healing hypnosis technique, you can go to barbarabeckerhealing.com and get in contact with her and explore that for yourself. And certainly go and read some of the testimonials and just read about the technique and understand it a little bit more and what it is and how that might help you in your next steps along your journey. So, and just want to remind you again one more time that we now are kind of in this new phase of our beta testing, and we are offering memberships, and it's been going great, by the way, so don't worry that I'm saying beta testing, because everything's functional and it's working well and people are enjoying it. But please go and check that out. We definitely need your support. Your support helps us continue doing programs like this and bringing new content to the website and adding to our video library. So check it out. You get 30 days free. You can watch the videos and see if that doesn't help you along your journey as well. So that's streamingforthesoul.com, and you want to just click on the Join Now button in the menu, and it will take you to that sign up page and be a member and enjoy our great videos in our member library. So thank you for being here today. If you like this show, please like it on Facebook, and please also put comments for us so we can see your comments, and don't forget to share it too. Share it with all your friends so other people can see this and they can get a chance to experience Barbara, and they can have their own opportunity to as I like to say, experience the extraordinary. And I think what the conversation with Barbara today was really showing all of us and telling us is that we are all of us extraordinary beings, and there are some people who are kind of expressing what I like to call superpowers at the moment, but we all have them, and they are all we all are equal in that. And I love too that Barbara was just reminding us all that this life right now, this is a sacred journey, and your physical being and what you're doing here is all sacred, and it's all purposeful, and it's part of a puzzle that is one great big giant huge picture in the mind of God, and we are all needing to express that to the very best of our abilities. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for being here, and go out there and experience the extraordinary.